And I know that some of you, for your hand contour drawings, your lines are very sketchy and jagged, and you did exactly what I asked you to do. It was one continuous line. But if you want to make your life just a little bit easier for this project, I would recommend smoother lines. Hey, don't forget the fingernails. One thing I did notice about doing these exercises is when I first started doing them is we also had to do um, contour drawings of our hands, and for the longest time, like before I did this, I thought hands were super hard to draw. Like I would try and it would always turn out wonky. But and so like when my instructor asked us to do these, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be really hard. Like it's not gonna look like a hand or a finger. It's just gonna look really weird. But surprisingly, it turned out pretty cool and actually helped me get um, over kind of the fear of drawing hands. Just made it a lot easier. It was pretty cool. All right, and it's always hard, even for me, to look at my hand or the object that I'm drawing than my paper. But I'm gonna get every little line. Hmm. And if you made the line too narrow or too wide, just go back and draw another line. It's okay. Like the side of my palm is too flat, so I went back in. Okay, so here is my drawing, my first drawing. So I will have to do what, 10, 11, 12 more of these to fill up this whole page. There's a lot of empty space. So as you are working in your drawings, try to find areas that are very large that you can break up, okay? So the next drawing, I'm going to pick a different orientation and different hand pose. And different size. So if this is a little bit larger than, actually maybe twice as large as my actual real hand, this time it's gonna be maybe twice as big as this, okay? And please overlap your drawings, okay? You can turn your drawing paper backwards, rotate it 90 degrees, okay? All right, different hand drawing pose. Let's do maybe something like this, okay? And you don't have to start at the edge of the paper. You could even start here and then just connect the finishing and ending lines. All right, so I'm gonna be twice as big as this, so it's gonna be a lot bigger. All right, let's see if I can do that. And it's gonna feel a little awkward and a little weird, but that's okay. Just do your best. And it's okay if your hand doesn't come out looking like a hand. I know these are modified contour drawings, but don't worry about that. That's not the point. That's not like the biggest or of the biggest importance for this project, okay? What is important is that you break up this piece and you fill this whole piece of paper with minimum of 5 different values. For drawing 2, I asked that you include a minimum of 9 values. So that's why I asked every one of you to, it's kind of hard to draw and talk, but every one of you to make 2 value scales. Oh man, I lost. Okay, I'm on this figure. Keep your lines light. Don't dig into the paper. It's kind of hard to, sometimes you forget, but just do your best. Oh man, I think my fingers got smaller, which is not good, but it's okay. Yeah, definitely something went wrong, but I'm gonna stop here. I'm just gonna connect the edge to finishing and starting point. So now this is what I have. Something went off and I have like this huge thumb, but in the end it's not twice as big as this. Now all this, it looks like a mess, but this is exactly what you want to break up pieces. You want a variety, a rhythm, a balance of larger forms and shapes and smaller, more complex and intertwined shapes and forms. Okay, well, what is this? Okay, and you will fill in each shape after you're done with the 11 to 13 contour drawings of different values. Okay, so same thing for my third drawing. I'm gonna flip it different way, choose a different pose. If you get sick and tired, like let's say you're doing more of a cylindrical object, you know, you could draw it this way, you could draw it this way, this way, this way, this way. You don't have to draw your hand, but you would be holding it right with your hand, or you can perch it on a tabletop. Let's say this is a table. Push this way, this way, this way, this way, and even this way. So lots of different options. I'm gonna do one more and then I'll stop, and then I'll also include examples. Like I said, there are a few examples on the PowerPoint, but I'll include an example of part 1 that's due February 2nd in today's agenda as well. So one more. Let's do this. I'm gonna make it smaller, maybe half the size of this. A lot of lines and wrinkles on my knuckles.